This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. Thanks everybody for being here. If you would, please stand. We'll do the pledge of allegiance first and then remain standing. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Caldwell, do us up.
Father God, we thank you, dear Lord, as we start this meeting of the new year. Lord. We pray that you will bless everything that goes on here, not only tonight, but bless this year, this town throughout this year, and all those who need it, help it, work for it, and guide it through this coming year. Bless them all, protect them, keep them safe. Pray that you will be holy, in the present name. Amen.
Amen.
If you would, remain standing. We'll have a moment of silence for our neighbors who passed away. Andrew, Tricia Paxton, Curtis Waddell, and Robert. All right, thank you so much. If you would, everybody, please check, make sure you got your phone on silent or vibrate. And at this time, I'll ask the commissioners, if anybody has a conflict of interest with anything that's on the agenda. Please let me know. All right, without any conflicts, we'll move on. We have an addition to the agenda. Eric wanted to add a discussion about boat ramp passes. We'll make that 17.
What was that, Will?
Sorry.
Say that again?
Eric wanted to add a discussion about boat ramp passes.
Okay.
So we'll make that number 17 on the agenda. So we'll need a motion to approve the agenda with the change.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Next up is public comment. We have two people signed up. First is Shane Guthrie. Step up to the podium, sir.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? My name is Shane Guthrie. I am candidate for sheriff of Carter County. I want to come out and try to introduce myself and tell everybody a little bit about myself. I am a Carter County resident, born and raised in Carter County. I have 34 years in law enforcement. I worked Burton Police Department in the early 90s. Then I left and went to Greenville, where I worked Pitt County Sheriff's Office. I stayed there until I retired. I stayed on. I'm still sworn with Pitt County Sheriff's Office as a sworn deputy, serving civil practice part-time. Currently working full-time at Willis Insurance in Morehead City, selling insurance. I got my insurance license. Thought I was going to continue to do that until Sheriff Buck decided he was going to retire. And when he made that announcement, I prayed for about 2 weeks to make this decision. So put my name in the hat, and here I am. I have I have a lot of programs I want to bring to this county to make it better for a lot of the citizens in this county. One of the things I want to do, and I think I just found out that Ed Carter is already doing one of them, is I want to put an AED in every single patrol car, which those that don't know is a defibrillator to respond to cardiac arrest patients. Sheriff's Office currently don't have AEDs in other patrol cars, and as y'all probably know, that is a very big life-saving tool. In our county, in Pitt County at the time, when we started that, it went from a 30.8% survival rate for a witnessed cardiac arrest person to an 80.8% survival rate. So it's a big deal. That's one of the programs I want to bring. Another program I want to do is enact and start, make sure a detective not only work with ICATs, but there's another company that's currently using artificial intelligence to locate these child sex predators. And I want to find these child sex predators, whether they're in our county or come from some other county. Internet, there are predators from all over the state, outside of state, they'll come to our county and look for our children. I want to stop that. And with this artificial intelligence company that's now working partially with ICATs, they find these people in seconds, where it takes one person a half a day to go through one profile. So this will dramatically reduce that time frame. But I will be happy to speak to anybody at the end of the meetings. I will hold y'all the meeting up and answer any questions y'all may have. I have a website Has all my programs on there. It's Shane Guthrie, forsheriff.org. .org. I got some cards I'd like to give you all out. I'll give them to you later.
We have two simple questions.
Yes, sir.
You're native of Carter County?
I am. Yes, sir.
Are you, what's your political?
I'm Republican. This is a Republican primary.
All right, thanks, sir. You can just leave them there in the corner. We'll catch them. Thanks, sir. Next up is Lori Tupper.
Good evening, commissioners and fellow residents. I want to thank you thank all the commissioners for their service to our community and also the newly elected ones. Welcome. Appreciate your service to our town. In the 25 plus years that I've been a resident, I have seen this town grow and still maintain the community that makes our town great. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight about an idea that can make our town more connected, more sustainable, and a community driven by making our community golf cart friendly. And before you start saying you can already drive golf carts around here, I want to elaborate on that a little bit more. So please bear with me. The ability to access the local businesses in town by golf cart, I'm referring to Lowe's, Mac Daddy's, and all the other restaurants, McDonald's, and so forth. I know some of the people on this side of 24 can currently do that, but we who live near Star Hill, we cannot do that. So imagine a town where neighbors can hop into their golf carts to visit a friend, head to town sponsored events, or pick up groceries, all without getting in their full-size car. A town where traffic is calmer, parking is easier, and the air is cleaner. This vision isn't a far-fetched dream. It's reality already working successfully in communities just like ours, places such as Ocean Isle, Sunset Beach, and Carolina Shores. Golf carts are electric or low-emission vehicles. Encouraging their use helps reduce our town's carbon footprint, cuts back on noise pollution, and supports our commitment to sustainability. As our town grows, so does the traffic congestion and the demand for parking. Golf carts take up less space, travel slower, and promote safer, calmer streets, especially in residential and the downtown areas. I don't know about you, but this crosswalk over here at Enterprise and 24 is pretty scary. I've rode my bike there and I've walked there, and it's pretty sketchy. And I believe if we could allow some of the community to access these businesses by golf cart, that could alleviate some of that congestion there and maybe encourage more people to use that trail because it won't be so scary and so congested there. In addition, golf cart community will allow the town residents to attend some of these local events that you have. There's not a lot of parking for some of these, and this would allow more parking and more people to potentially participate in those. A golf cart friendly town can increase property values from 15 to 30% per Google. Currently, the golf cart registration brings in around $13,000 annually. That could potentially double for the town. This will truly make the Cape a sought-after town to live in and raise a family. Golf carts make it easier for older residents or those with mobility challenges. It helps them to stay active and engaged in the community. They encourage friendly interaction, and you can wave to your neighbor when you're going a little bit slower in the golf cart. The initiative is cost effective. It doesn't require major infrastructure projects, just thoughtful planning and updated ordinances. In fact, it could save money in the long term by reducing wear and tear on our roads and lowering traffic management costs. This proposal isn't just about golf carts, it's about community. It's about making our town more livable, connected, and forward-thinking. By taking this step, we show we care about sustainability, safety, and small town charm. Let's be a model for other towns and play in a place where innovation meets tradition, where we can move a little slower and live a little better. Cape Carteret, the Cape, truly be the charming coastal community town. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And that was it for public comment. All righty. Next up is the consent agenda.
consent agenda?
Well, this is consent agenda. Just need a motion
I'll make a motion.
to adopt
to adopt, yes.
or to approve. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Okay. John had his hand up. You did.
Oh,
All right.
got it.
All right. All in favor? All right. Thank you. Next up, presentation from the North Carolina League of Municipalities for the successful implementation of the Black Mountain software. If y'all would just step up to the microphone there.
Everyone. Thank you for allowing us to come and celebrate just a little bit your accomplishments. We would have been here earlier, but we understand, that things happen and you get turnover, and so we just kind of wanted to wait till you got a little bit more stabilized and some of your new staff have time to get their feet wet. So thank you again. So this program, and I'm sure some of you probably don't know much about it, but we approached towns about 3 years ago started. We got money, the league got money from the state, which is ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan Act. And it was several $millions, and we had this idea that had been in the making long before the money ever came about. And it was to target small towns, preferably some that had been on the UAL, which is the Unit Assistant List with LGC. But you did not have to be on the UAL. Small towns usually, for more often financial reasons, don't have what we call the better accounting software. They usually have something more generic. And it does at times cause them to not have their audits on time, simply because doing the Governmental Accounting Standards Board accounting performances and duties is very difficult in a software that doesn't adhere to governmental accounting standards by the state. So this program targeted those towns specifically that did not have that accounting availability for them, and they could not afford to reach out. And honestly, Cape Carteret could afford, but you didn't have to be financially unstable. You could still receive the software. So that's how Cape Carteret was chosen. And what we do is we come in, we grab all the reports out of your software that you're currently using, and we map them to what we call a standard chart of account, which is to, again, keep the journal entries and all the work that has to be done on a daily, monthly, yearly basis, keep you ready for audit so that your auditor is more able to pull the reports they need and do your audit in a timely fashion. There's not so much holdup. And by getting on a standard chart of accounts, as many as we could get to adhere to it, that led the auditors that are already on the list to do municipality audits across the state are not dropping off, because it does take a lot of time when they've got to go to a town and there's a different software in every town, there's a different chart of accounts. It's out of hand. So it was to shore things up, which we feel that we are making a lot of headway. This is our last year to converting the towns that are left in our pipeline. So with that, we're going to celebrate that Cape Carteret has finished and successfully finished. And so I'm going to read a little bit and elaborate, but I'll try not to read it all word for word because that may take a little bit longer. So as I said, the American Rescue Plan Act funding awarded to the state of North Carolina and then subawarded to NCLM. The funding covers mass participant costs in the program for the first 3 years. So we will be paying, and we have been paying, for your software support for the first 3 years after you've converted. Now, this will all go out Now, even though 2026 will be the last year that we have the funds to report to the feds, you will still get your support paid for the 3 years. So if you didn't convert until this year, you would still get 3 years of support. But you all converted earlier, so yours will not. And if you need a specific date, I'll have to look that up. But that's what this whole program was. So it's buying the software, implementing it for you, and paying for support for 3 years. Plus, you get an accounting specialist assigned to your town to help your staff navigate the new software and learn it. So we're very proud of what we've done, and we're very proud of Cape Carteret and all of its staff, either former or current. Okay, so you guys went live. When we say went live, that means you started working in this software, Black Mountain software, on October the 1st of 2024. The general ledger was converted to the Mass Program's Standard Uniform Chart of Accounts, which I referenced. Transactions are being recorded in a timely, detailed manner. We work with your staff, and we have continued as your staff needs us to. I know you have a new finance officer, and I think he's doing a great job. So he doesn't really need us that much, which that's good because we're so needed in some other places. In fact, we sometimes feel we're just operating on a skeleton staff, but we get it done. There are separately reconciled bank accounts, which is a very important thing in governmental accounting. They're reported on the ledger for increased transparency to be reported to you all, but you all will be able to see those. You can ask for those, and they should be very easily accessed and gone over. You can catch the other one. Some of the other accomplishments is working with the bank to submit positive pay files to prevent check fraud. I don't know if any of you are aware of positive pay. That is a new thing. It's not real new, but it is a new thing that we have suggested to all of our towns that participate in this program to do what we call positive pay, where once they cut these checks, pay bills, pay whatever, they go into a bank portal, and your finance officer or whoever is assisting them will put the check number, the amount, the vendor on a list to the bank, so that when those checks try to clear, if it's not on that list, the bank is going to know. It's going to adhere to that list. And we have seen cases where it has really saved some towns for fraudulent checks that had they not had positive pay, they may have cleared their checking account. So we're very proud of that, and we're so glad that Cape Carteret is participating. Purchase orders can be done through the software, allowing the town to see not only what has been spent, but also obligated from their budget. Implementation of budget prep module to assist in preparation of the annual budget. Utilizing payroll module to automate processes to more efficiently and effectively complete the payroll. All of those things are being accomplished now for Cape Carteret with your finance officer and your team. Continuous efforts, mentoring staff, board on accounting related matters. Anytime that your finance officer or any one of your staff were to call us, we're going to do all we can to assist. If I don't know the answer, I've got a team of people that do know the answer. We want it to be so that you can network with other municipalities that actually use this software, and you can they can be a resource for you guys to collaborate. And say another finance officer in another town, small town, is having this same issue or problem, or they don't know how to really go about a new accounting issue that they're having. But if they talk to someone that is using Black Mountain, that they kind of hold each other's hand and they get through it together, and that's good. It's good to always have someone you can reach out to, because we will not be here forever. Although we have been trying to get funded, but we can't seem to get the state to fund a whole lot because they don't seem to have a whole lot. But anyway, we're going to stay as long as we can, but we just want to make sure that everybody is doing well before we leave them alone. But you guys are doing well, and that's why we're here celebrating. So we'll flip on over to the other one. More continuous efforts, manuals providing information on financial tasks that must be done on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis, along with information on how to complete those tasks. We have delivered manuals. It's called our AIM manual, and it actually is a manual, page after page, of daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly things that is required of finance officer and duties therein in their town to report to the feds, to the state, all the normal reporting. But there's information on how that is done. So if you're ever at a time that you don't have your good finance officer, or something happens that someone had to step up and take his place for whatever reason, there is a manual, and it's very self-explanatory. And we can also help with that as long as we're available. If not, it's good to bring out and kind of, you can call Black Mountain for support, and they can help you. You tell them what you're trying to do, and it's just a good other piece to our program. Okay. Now, seems that now you are enhanced with a software tool effectively used by your staff. You have mass accounting assistant program efforts, regular management and board oversight, reliable financial records, and quality services to citizens. And that was part of our whole goal. So you guys have just surpassed. And so we want to thank you. We want to thank you. We want to thank our state legislator for their funding and support to allow us and to allow you all to be a part of this program. We thank the town of Cape Carteret board for being one of the first to join the MASS program and their support through the conversion. To the local government commission for partnering with the town and the league to take the step towards better financial responsibility and reliability for the town. And last but not least, town manager, Jean Foxworth. If you'll come forward and accept this plaque on behalf of your board and your staff.
It's gonna break the camera, you know that.
I try to be as pretty as I can.
Thank you so much. And I would read it off, but I think you guys can pass it around. And also, Miss Heather Leffenwell. We have something for her. Heather is going to receive a certificate of completion. She is still here. She participated in all that training and was just a cheerful voice on the other end and a bright light when I came in the door. And we just are so proud of you and all the work that you do to help your board, your staff, and the citizens here in Cape Carteret. All right. And that is it. Thank you.
I got a question.
Oh, sure.
What's the closest town to us that uses this?
We're so spread out. You're going to give me a second. Let me think. Maysville. Maysville is not on Black Mountain yet, but they are in our program. And do you have any idea when they might be converting? It should be within the next 2 to 3 to 4 months at the most, because everyone that is in our pipeline should be converted and finished by December 2026. And it takes about 3 to 4 months to start the conversion, which when we say start, that means we're doing our part, and it takes us about 2 months to get to the live part where we pull your staff in. So I'm assuming somewhere by the end of spring, they should be converting. But Maysville, I'm trying to think someone, there's a little town above Pitt County, Canita. They converted in 2024. Trying to think of the other ones. A lot of the east ones are, okay, Richland, that's in Onslow County. They converted just recently, about, I'd say maybe a year ago. Magnolia, which is in Duplin County, they are due to, they just started this January. They're due to go live in April. So they'll be on it. But now we have all across the state. We've got several in New Hanover County. I'm thinking in the western part of the state, the central. I think it's like, we have about 54 towns we're going to convert. I think we've done 40 so far. We've done 40 towns. We just have what we call, we split up. We have the east, the central, and the west. And I know of some of the central and the west. Actually, I'm doing one in the west right now, but we just kind of just keep our own towns. We each have about 7 towns apiece that we work directly with. So when you ask me that right off the top of my head, I could go out there and get my computer in the car and tell you the whole 54. But when you ask me, we can't either one come up with that many, but there are some. And we had a users conference back in October where we invited, and I'm sure Heather was probably aware, but Heather really doesn't do a lot of the finance. And I think your finance officer then, Jeff, had just come on board. And we did invite all of the staff that wanted to come and participate in the users conference to collaborate with other towns. But I know you guys were in a transition, and like I say, that's why we were late getting here, because we wanted you to get stabilized before we came and celebrated. But it's not a good program. It's a great program, and we're very proud of it. And it has been a great help to a lot of towns across the state. And we're hoping that this will entice the auditors right now to stay with it, because there's a lot of auditors that do small towns that just were dropping off because the deadlines were hard to meet in these small towns, and you couldn't get the reports they needed for them to do an audit in a timely manner, and they just kept dropping off, and we just didn't have it. So this is part of retaining that audit list that we have. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to assume, which is not a good word, that our trial ends October 1st, 2027. That's 3 years.
I'm thinking that will be 3 years,
Okay.
but yeah, that sounds about right. I will get you an answer.
No, I've got the math right here.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. I want to know what the monthly cost is that we are not paying now. And then I want to know at the end of 2027, what our monthly costs are going to be.
Okay, I will have to look that information up for you. Every town was a little different. The average cost going into the software was 100 to 125,000 is what the league paid. Not that you all, that's including your software and your support. Okay, now after the 3rd year, after we paid that, your 4th year, I'm thinking your average will probably be somewhere around 15,000. I don't know what your support was that you were paying on your former software, but it'll be around 15,000. And that's pretty average for any fund accounting that most any town would use that's considered a small town. Of course, the bigger you are, the more population, the more accounts you have, the more work you're doing in the software, it's going to be more. But the smaller towns is an average of 15,000.
Now, my other question is for Jeff. How do you feel about this program?
I like it,
Okay,
very much. It's very functional.
okay. Just what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, sir.
I have one question. How vulnerable is this software to being hacked? You say this is like a broad software.
This is another reason why small towns needed some help in getting what we call better software.
Mhm.
In my opinion, it's not. I don't know. I'm not an IT person. I don't know about all that, but I do know it is considered very safe. So very safe, very reliable, and a lot less chance of it being hacked. But that's typically falls back onto what type of firewalls you have and how you work close with your IT and what type of security that, or high-tech security that you're paying for or the town is paying for. But the software is very reliable. I am not IT, so I don't want to answer too much and tell you something that's not true.
Okay.
But I do know it's very reliable. Can you elaborate any there on that, Allison?
Other than just, we do have an IT function. I was part of this grant program that does assessments of your system and what's required in order for you to be able to participate. And I believe they've also reached out about if you need any additional services in that area, that may be something that they can help with. And I'm sure they'd be willing to answer any questions you have regarding that as well.
And I think that you did, I think every town, it's been so much. We have done so much with such few people for almost 3 years now. I think every town did get an IT assessment in the beginning. I can look all of that up for you, and I'll be glad to email it. I'll be glad to email you any information that you're asking. I just don't know off the top of my head, because what I may have started out with a town, I may not have them anymore. That's gone with someone else, or what somebody's, it's because I did not map your chart of accounts. Another one of our specialists mapped it, and then it got turned over to me. So I don't know all of what you're asking, because we don't study that part. We're just trying to get you mapped, get you ready, get you converted, and someone else is taking care of the contract part and all that. So I will get you an answer. I will be glad to. In fact, I will. You just hang tight. Give me about 2 days and get home and look it up, and I'll send you an email. I'll get with Heather and find your email.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
okay. You're welcome.
We use BC for our IT services. Security.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
just,
yeah,
okay.
we're secure.
Just worried about it being broad across multiple towns all the same, and then it's easier to
Yes, sir.
track. Okay.
I understand your concern, but we pretty much know, we've got this all laid out. I don't, but upper management does, I can tell you, because the LGC is totally, they're behind it. They support it, and it's good. I wouldn't be doing it. I mean, I've got too much passion for what I do too. I wouldn't be part of this program, sharing it or doing anything if I didn't believe in it.
Yes, ma'am.
But I commend you for asking that. That's a good question. So, anybody else?
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up is a resolution accepting the June 30, 2025 audited financial statements. Is Lee online? Okay. See if he's
Yeah, I'm
ready.
here.
Hey, Lee, how you doing? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, we'll just turn it over to you then.
All right, good deal. I'm here to present the audit for the year ended June 30th, 2025. This is my 4th year as partner in charge of auditing the town of Cape Carteret. Again, my name is Lee Grissom. So the good news straight up, we issued an unmodified opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that an independent CPA firm can issue on a set of governmental financials. So essentially what that says is the audited financial report, which is about 58 pages this year, we went through and we felt comfortable that they're materially correct and they're reasonable and can be relied on in our professional opinion. So we issued the report December 13th, 2025. That's about 2 weeks ahead of the deadline, which is December 31st this year. And just so you know, the Local Government Commission changed the deadline from October 31st to December 31st. That's brand new. I mean, it's, as far as I can remember, it was always October 31st. So as your previous speaker mentioned, there's issues with getting audits out timely. So they allowed 2 additional months this year. So even with the turnover at the town's had in the last year, we were able to get the audit out. So again, that's an unmodified opinion. As I mentioned, there was a lot of turnover. So Jeff, I think there was 2 finance directors since last audit, since last time I presented. And then there's a new town manager. So a lot of turnover. I think that's the big story of this year from the audit standpoint. We did feel good about Jeff and working with him to get the last little bit of the audit out, as well as you guys have a great outsourced accountant, Beverly Stroud, who's new on the scene this year. Between Jeff and Beverly, I think the town's in good shape, in good hands from that standpoint. Jeff has a lot of experience, and so does Beverly. So I feel good, even though there's been a little bit of a rocky period. As far as the accounting records, very similar as far as journal entries from the previous year. There was just a couple, nothing too significant. So, and staff did a great job, as well as the staff on my end collecting Jay Craig was the manager on the job who worked a lot with Jeff and myself to get this audit out. We did not encounter any difficulties with management. There were no new accounting policies adopted. There were no disagreements with management. We did not consult with other auditors. There was one internal control finding, just to point this out. In the individual departments, the town was over budget in several places. 1, 2, looks like there's 4, but in total, the town was under budget. When you take all the expenditures in the general fund, you were under budget by 28 grand. But however, in the individual department lines, there were several overages. Most of them were insignificant. But that was what we ended up kind of just talking with Jeff and coming up with why that happened. I think it's pretty clear with the turnover that the town experienced. I mean, it's rare to see multiple changes in finance officers in a single fiscal year. So I don't think that's alarming, because the expenses in total, when you take all the departments and add them together, that you were under. But there just was, I guess, a little bit of a lack of oversight as far as looking at the individual department line items. So that's the finding for the year and the needs improvement. But other than that, the audit was really positive. The records were in good shape, and I do feel good about your new finance officer and the outsource arrangement. So let's talk about financial trends. Really, since 2020, so the last 6 fiscal years have been strong for Cape Carteret. Townwide assets were about $6 million this year. Total liabilities just under $1 million. Total net position around $5 million. And this year you did have a decrease in net position, but a lot of it was the Cape Carteret Trail Project Fund expenditures this year, which were funded by transfers from the other funds. So, and the general fund did decrease by about 153,000 this year. But what's important there is the general fund's fund balance is in a good, healthy position. And you should have access to graphs, which we'll go over in a minute. But the percentage that the local government commission wants you to be at, the minimum percentage is 34%, which is about 3 to 4 months in reserve. And the town is actually almost at 10 months in reserve in your general fund at about 83%. So really the last 6 fiscal years, the town's been in good shape as far as having enough emergency fund, enough cushion in the general fund. So that's really important, particularly from an audit standpoint. So let's go ahead and look at the graphs. I can't share my screen, but you should have a copy. The board members should have a copy of the graphs in front of you. And I'll just go through this. It's 5 pages. The first one is analysis of fund balance, governmental fund. So this goes back 2018 to 2025. And what you're going to see here is a really strong trend, like I mentioned earlier, 2020 to 2025. The blue line represents the total fund balance, and then the bar in red is restricted fund balance. For this audit, you were at 2.2 million in the 2025 fiscal year. And a lot of that decrease from 2024 to 5 was the trail, the capital project fund related to the trail, which had $600,000 of expenditures this fiscal year. Let's go to the next page. This is total cash, all funds by fiscal year. And for the year ended June 30th, 2025, total cash was just under $2.3 million. Okay, the next one, this is number of months in reserve general fund. Now, this is the emergency fund, as I mentioned a moment ago. This one's really important to the local government commission. As you can see, 2020 to 2025, you're in a strong position. In 2020, for example, you were over 1 year of expenditures in reserve. But for this fiscal year, you're at 10 months. So you've been really between 10 months and 12 months in reserve in your general fund. So in other words, you're in good shape. Nice emergency fund in your general fund. So that's really important. Next graph would be long-term debt. And overall, the town of Cape Cartwright's been really conservative with debt. June 30th, 2025, you only had 47,294. So that's a pretty low amount of long-term debt on the books. And the last one, property tax collection percentage. And this one's been pretty strong, really over the last decade. So you're hovering around 99%. So that's a pretty strong property tax collection percentage. So that wraps up the financial portion. Really just kind of to summarize everything or what I think is important. Unmodified opinion, that's the highest level of assurance. Remember, there was a lot of turnover this year, which is always sort of a red flag, but I do think the town made good decisions with bringing Jeff on and the new finance, the outsourced financial accounting. The books were in relatively similar shape as the year before. And then really the budget overages by department were a little bit of an outlier, but I think overall with expenditures being under, it sort of mitigates that somewhat, but still you want to get that back on track. So the recommendation would be to make sure to stay under the budget for this next fiscal year. And it sounds like your new accounting software should help with that as well once Jeff kind of gets his feet underneath him. Is there any questions?
No questions, sir.
All right. Well, if you have any, you should have the board communication letter. If you think of any questions later, you can always email me and I'll be happy to answer. But other than that, have a good evening.
All right. Thank you for your time, Lee. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So the board needs to approve the findings, correct? So, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit.
Okay. Second. Okay, Eric. All in favor? Okay. Next up, Police Department Quarterly Report. Chief.
Good evening, how is everyone? All right, so this is the fourth quarter police report for the police department, October, November, December statistics. All right, fourth quarter significant accomplishments. The police department remains fully staffed, which is very positive. With no current vacancies. We conducted high visibility control operations and traffic enforcement were conducted throughout the holiday season with increased directive controls and target prevent package thieves. We had 0 package theft. Officers participated in the Santa Claus parade and the Christmas tree lighting. Officers provided traffic control for the fall festival costume run, the fall festival proper, and the Thanksgiving Day turkey trot. Officers completed all of their state mandated in-service training. Officer Moneymaker completed the training program so he could go to work on his own. 5 officers who are now currently radar certified. We have 1 more that we will be getting class probably in the summer. Our total calls for service, order 1,710 calls. Officers conducted 4,862 directed patrols. Directed patrols include business check, neighborhood patrol, park check, targeted traffic enforcement operations, and proactive youth patrol. All right, the fourth quarter, we had traffic stops. Flurry. So 1,026 traffic stops, 348 traffic citations. We issued 678 traffic warnings, investigated 19 motor vehicle collisions, and had a 20 arrests. Fourth quarter mutual aid, we're pretty busy in October with mutual aid. Where the majority of these numbers come from. 29 times we responded to mutual aid outside of the corporate city limits. We went to Cedar Point 11 of those times, 5 in Pelletier, 8 in various parts of the county near the town. We went to LOL 3 times to assist their police department, and we went to both twice. Inside the corporate limits, we assisted fire and EMS 41 times, and then we had primarily the sheriff's department and LOL responded to us 11 times to support us.
The county, is that Stella?
Yeah, it could be Stella, it just does not inside the corporate limit of like Cedar Point and Pelletier, so we just kind of throw those in there. Out of the no man's land.
I hope the new sheriff reopens up the Western Carteret office of the sheriff's department with, I can't remember the proper words, magistrate. So that we have less and less.
I would love to have a magistrate on this.
And you're throwing that out here?
Magistrate.
I'm not looking at anybody.
So, 2025 total police activity, calls for service, we were 6,881, 17,536 directed patrols, 3,860 traffic stops, issued 1,395 citations, we made 90 arrests for 2025, investigated 123 motor vehicle collisions, and responded mutual aid 106 times outside the city. Next slide, I put my information on there in case anybody uses that. That's the public number. That's my email address. If anybody feels the need to email me, have an open door policy. Yeah.
Your police department, police staff is going to be a benefit.
You definitely need a police department.
Well, I hope somebody points that out to our county commissioner.
I got a question. If you help out with marine fishery, is that
That would
county?
be another mutual aid.
Another, okay,
Wildlife cause to help out, gangland, that would be mutual aid.
okay. That would be county.
Yeah, we throw that in the county.
Okay.
All right,
Hey, thank you for what you do.
thank you.
I know there was 2 active shooters in Cedar Point alone, and I believe you guys are the ones that answered that originally. So you guys are really putting yourself out there, and if nobody said thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Chief. Next up is discussion of event committee appointments.
So at last month's meeting, Commissioner Platania brought up forming an events committee for the town. Of course, right now, we hold the Fall Festival. We've talked about holding other events throughout the year, all good ideas. I think our citizens enjoyed Fall Festival immensely this year. I think everything went really well. But an events committee could help us in kind of shaping what else we want to do and making improvements on these things. So tonight, really, I have 2 questions for y'all, 3 questions for y'all. A, is this something you want to pursue? B, is the number on that committee. How many committee members do you want to appoint? And C, who do you have in mind to appoint to this committee? I would say that I would recommend at least one commissioner being appointed to this committee. I think it would be good to help report back. I think it would be good on a lot of levels to have that involvement. But that's the questions. Is this something you want to pursue?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Definitely. definitely. And I'll volunteer to be the commissioner. We'll do a commissioner, and I think around about 5 people. Keep it small.
Yep.
And tight. And I know this will help alleviate a lot of that stress that people that work for the town are under doing these events. So hopefully it's something we can move forward in.
All right, so thanks for being the chairman of that committee.
Yeah, all right.
Wait a minute, do we have to vote on that?
So I would suggest, since this idea is kind of new, we bring it back next month and look at appointees for that.
Find some people interested.
Give you a chance to talk to who you might want to appoint to that. Make sure they were willing before we just volunteer them.
I like that volunteer. All righty, well, let's just do that then. All right, next up is discussion of paperless agenda packets. Commissioner Monroe.
Mr. Mayor, so this is just, it's actually pretty simple. The town has been using binders for a long time, a lot of paper. I personally just don't really need that for doing what I'm doing. And my concern is just kind of streamlining the process where we can. That's probably a more effective way of addressing that, because it takes the town staff a lot of time to put all that together every month. So all I would say is that, my point on this is that if commissioners would like to have all the paper, that's fine. I just personally don't need that, but I'm looking for streamlining the process every month where that's possible. That's all that is.
Well, that's what I do. I just download it and use that. We can have a discussion later if y'all want the town to provide tablets. I know a lot of towns do that, which are specifically for the meeting. So if that's something y'all want to look into, we can talk about that in the budget coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're effectively kind of already doing the electronic thing, just a matter of using it.
All righty. And keep talking, Commissioner Monroe. You're going to talk about the Tree City USA now.
Yeah, just very quickly. So I'd like to see this town become a tree city. It's a program that Arbor Day has been doing for a long time. There's close to 4,000 cities and towns throughout the country that are part of the Tree City program. And I passed out to the other commissioners, there's a lot of communities around the world representing 24 countries, 6 continents. These communities range from small towns, 1,500 residents, to cities of over 12 million. What the Tree City does for communities is it provides a way to manage your trees and your green areas. And it's just something that Arbor Day provides to communities throughout the nation. It doesn't cost the communities anything. It doesn't affect property owners. And the submission package to move forward with that is in September. And I'd be happy to work with town manager to submit the packet. And then this town would also become a tree city in addition to a bee city and perhaps a golf cart city. So that's my pitch for the Tree City USA program. So I'd like to make a motion that we become a Tree City USA.
All right.
Look at that.
Second?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Can I have a question?
Sure, you can.
Paxton, back in the day, didn't we do some adaptation for tree cities in the planning board? Do you remember? It resonates with me. Okay, I thought we did. But this won't affect cutting trees on private land like Emerald Isle.
No, that would be.
I'm asking the question
All right.
because if I have to call him Emily Farmer, I'm going to call him Emily Farmer, okay? Man,
It's a pretty name though.
She was from Connecticut.
Don't set him up for success, no better.
All right.
All right, so everybody, let's do that one more time. All in favor? Just make sure for official. Okay, thanks, guys.
Great idea.
Next up is an appointment to the Eastern Carolina Council of Governments General Membership Board.
Thank you.
I would just like to say that I find that particular unit to be really not in the best interest of the town. And rather than supporting that, I'd like to see us throw that money toward the Allies of Cherry Point, which does have bang for the buck for us. But that's just my opinion. Y'all do what you want. If you want to elect somebody, you can. But I would just suggest that.
I didn't quite understand what you said, Mayor.
The East Carolina Council,
To the town to be a member of that.
yeah, the East Carolina, what do we pay for that?
It's $1,200-$1,300 a year.
We pay, let's say $1,000 a year for this organization that has done absolutely nothing for our town. I don't really see any benefit out of continuing. A lot of towns are dropping them anyway. I don't know if the county has yet or not.
I understand that they have, but I'm not certain.
Okay, but to me, I just think that money, if we're going to give it away, I'd rather see us do that to the Allies Cherry Point, which is a lot better outfit, and they have a great impact on our town, which I'll talk a little bit more. Gene and I went and did a tour of the facilities over there. Just a suggestion, rather than
Do we have to
doing
make
the
that
appointment.
emotional?
Do what?
Do we need to make that a motion?
Yes, you would need to make that a motion. I'm just suggesting.
All right, I make a motion that we do not appoint somebody to the East Carolina Council of Government. But we take that appointment and transfer it to the Allies at Cherry Point.
Okay. Awesome.
Whatever funds that we designate for the government entity, we'd like to have for the Marine Corps entity.
Well,
You're
can I have-
moving a little bit too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on.
The agenda, correct me if I'm wrong, is appointment to the Eastern Council of Government.
That's correct.
We need a motion, in my opinion, to not do that.
Right, and then
Then we'll go into what
Exactly.
Richie said
I tried to do
Right.
it all at once.
you're exactly right.
at another,
One at a time.
at another
Okay.
time.
One at a time,
I make
exactly.
a motion
So we're just going to
to-
dissolve this. Okay. So motion to dissolve our
Not appoint.
involvement with the Eastern
And I
Carolina
think
Council.
Commissioner Barnhill wants to discuss that.
Okay, go right ahead.
Well, I've been serving that role and representing Cape Carteret, and I do come back with information on like grants. I think the police department or maybe Public Works used a grant or something, but it is informative. And you network at all the counties. It's not just, little section or just the agent. They do let you know what's going on with transportation, what's coming down the road. So I actually enjoy talking to
Well, I'm sure you
and
do.
interacting and finding out what's going on around me.
We
So
got Christmas decorations.
But there's
Whatever,
other organizations.
whatever.
To me, it's a doubling of efforts. There's other organizations that are doing the exact same thing for the same bang for the buck. And I just hate to see us waste our money on it. Because to me, they've got other entities like the Triangle J I've dealt with in Raleigh, which is the exact same purpose, but they actually do things. And so far, I just haven't seen the bang for the buck out of this.
So the organization that you're talking about, you want to support, what would be our,
Well,
That would be-
we'll cross that bridge later.
What
Now
do
we're
they
just
do?
talking about this one.
I know.
The Allies for Cherry Point.
What do they?
Well, we have a lot of our citizens that work there. And so they do everything to look out for the employees and everything that's a outreach for the towns that are affected by the base, which ours is, very much so. But there again, I understand where you're coming from, but it's nice to get a free meal every now and then, but we're paying dearly for that.
I wish I'd known that, we would have been eating.
And you don't have to do it tonight. I mean, if you want to research it later, you can do what you want to do. I'm just making a suggestion.
$1,000, $1,000. I mean,
That's correct.
We're not getting anything in return. It's a shame we can't do the same thing with our county representatives, right? Yeah, I'll second the motion that John Ritchie made to
Okay.
not participate in the Eastern Carolina Council of Government.
All right, any more discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? All right, 4-1. And I'll get you guys more information for the next meeting about the Allies. So if you want to throw the money toward that, that's great. If not, we'll just keep the $1,000.
Is the cost the same for the Cherry Point?
No, the Cherry Point is all about what you want to give. There's no,
Okay.
we want to give $1 or $1,000. That's up to us. So we don't have to do anything. But I'll tell you more about that when we get around to comments. All right, next up is the approval of the Powell Bill paving bid.
Thank you, Mayor. So what you have before you tonight is a RFP and contract. It's all one and the same. As you know, we get approximately $100,000 a year through the Powell Bill, which is NCDOT's assistance to municipalities to maintain streets. So we put this bid out and received 3 proposals. You have a bid tab as your second page in there that I provided, so you can see who bid what for these. The low bidder was Coastline Contracting. So the low bid was slightly more than what we have budgeted for this year. So it is almost $100,000 on the head that we have budgeted, and we have received those funds from the state at this point. So we've got this sitting in a project account right now, ready to spend. What I would suggest that you do is, and if you look at the specification, one of the segments was the boat ramp circle there at Bayshore, and it was just over $5,000 to do. So I would suggest that you award this bid minus that boat ramp circle, which would put it at $99,761.50, which is what we have budgeted. All that said, that's the reason we asked for unit costs. That's why we asked for that, so that if we did run into this situation, we would have the flexibility to do so. But that'd be my recommendation, is to award that bid.
Okay. Any questions for Gene?
Yeah, Gene, as you know, sometimes, well, I guess it's state mandate that we accept the lowest bidder in this case. Is that correct?
Lowest responsive bidder. Yes, sir.
Okay. That said, are you prepared to oversee the entire paving operation?
Ryan and I will, yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have on.
That was a great question. That's what I was gonna wonder, why they're 105,000 and then the highest is 182.
Sure.
Yeah, you had two that were pretty close.
Yeah.
So what you look for in this, not to ad lib another comment here, but when you write these specifications, so you want to see the majority of bids close together, right? That means they understood what we were asking for.
Mhm.
They understand what they have to do to comply with that bid. And we did have two very close together, so, which tells me they did understand what we asked for.
I make a motion that we approve the low bidder of Coastline for the Powellville and Bayshore paving,
With that motion, are you going to less the circle?
less the 5,000,
Yes, I got the circle.
as presented by the town manager.
Very good.
Okay.
Is that
Second.
accurate? I'm getting this.
I would second that.
All right, all in favor? Next up is the added agenda, discussion of boat ramp passes. Eric?
All right, thank you, guys. I know we beat this up, or this was beat up beforehand. I couldn't let it go, and I do apologize, everybody. I just could not let this go. I've reviewed all the numbers and all the possibilities, and it just didn't make sense to me that we added a boat ramp, but then we are going to decrease the amount of revenue that we're going to receive from having two boat ramps. And I believe it was sold to the town to add revenue to the town with the buying of the boat ramp. So with that, I've crunched a lot of numbers, and the numbers that I'm looking at is we would be a deficit if we left the same cost right now of $50,000. But if we raise the cost, since we raised it for members of the community to 300, I recommend we raise it to outside within the county to 600, and we would be able and keep the cost of 800 for out of county residents. And we're looking at if we do the same numbers we did last year, we're looking at $56,000 that we would make.
Are you saying 600 for surrounding towns?
600 for surrounding towns.
Okay.
Yep, because we went up from 225, right, to 300, if I'm understanding the number. And so I don't think we should have an increase on our folks and not increase as well to other folks. And that $100 difference is about 68. If we're using the same numbers from last year, I think we sold 68. So it's $6,800, additional.
Quick question for you, if I
Yeah,
can,
please.
so to make sure I understand. So What you said was 600 for folks that, and this would be just like we've done it in years past. So it would be 600 for citizens of Bow, Pelletier, and Cedar Point, and it would be 800 for everyone else. Not out of count, but everyone else.
Yes,
That's how we did it.
That's what I'm proposing. I think that we can really do a lot of great things with them, and we could pay for the ramp itself with that money. We could just do a lot more for the communities that don't. I mean, if we're only selling 198 passes and then what we sold 52 additional, so that. But I'll go with that 198. So say we have 2,000 people in the town, we only have 200 of them utilizing this ramp. What are the other 1,800 doing? They're not gaining from this ramp at all. You know how we can gain from this ramp? Let's sell some passes. Let's get this money while we can.
I strongly disagree. The previous board was 3 members sitting here, hashed this out. We talked it to death. Not to mention we went in a contract with the Bay Shore 9, limit that facility to town residents only. That's the only reason they sold that to us. Okay. Overcrowding has been an issue for years on this boat ramp. We addressed it. We got to wean ourselves from that boat ramp by 2031. We shouldn't be even discussing that today. It should be a budget discussion. And the fact that we added it to the agenda without giving the public notice to come in here and discuss it is inappropriate.
Well, I think we've increased the capacity because we have 2 boat ramps now. And we've increased our debt because we bought a boat ramp for 1.2 million, not counting what we're spending on boat slips and boat lifts. And then we've reduced our revenue. So why not get the people who use boats around this area to help us pay for that boat ramp? So I agree with Eric.
With the Bay Shore 9 not to allow outside people in.
Yeah, but you threw it on us at a meeting to not allow them to use Manatee. So I think our neighbors should help us pay for the boat ramp if they have a boat. We don't have that many people that use the boat.
I think the fact that it's added on the agenda just on a whim and not giving the public a chance to show up is just inappropriate.
There's a lot of things added on a whim.
Okay.
We all vote on it.
Put it to a motion then.
With Bayshore. With Bayshore, so that Bayshore cannot be used by people outside.
The deed says it needs to be used for the use and benefit of the people of the town of Cape Carteret. So that's what the deed says. Now, what you interpret use and benefit for is certainly open for interpretation. I don't know that there are any restrictions on the Manatee as it relates to that. So for the Bayshore one, that's what the restrictions say for the use and benefit of the people of the town of Cape Carteret.
Okay, I can see benefit as, you bought a pass, it benefited town, but to ease everybody, we could do a 2 separate passes and 2 colors, and then that way we can, Manatee is for everyone, Bayshore is for town residents only. I mean, we could do that. I'm not saying that, it doesn't sound like we have to do that, but.
Well, that's the way it was supposed to have been originally.
I think that's a reasonable approach. I understand both sides of this here because exclusive for town residents, I got it. But also, like Eric said, there's a couple hundred people that have boats or passes, residents into town. There's a lot more people live in the town. So it's kind of an exclusive, inclusive thing here. And I think that, in my opinion, the Manatee ramp is a source of revenue. And if we did vote to go to the outside and let our neighbors in pay, and it becomes a problem, we can always reverse that. But, I go back to my life, in the Marine Corps, the building will be built within 4 years. And guess what? It never is. So whatever's going to be built down the North Carolina Wildlife Commission, it could be 5 years, who knows, right? But it's not there yet. And that's just revenue that that we're just giving up, you know? And I've had people come up to me and say, who don't live in the town, say, I'm willing to pay the $500 regardless of that being built, because they don't want to go down with their 4,000 best friends over at the wildlife ramp. So I would say we should, my opinion is that Manatee open for everybody, see what kind of revenue we can gain there. And I would be willing to have the other ramp just for town residents, for the exclusivity.
You're looking at a logistical nightmare. I'll go ahead and tell you that right get going.
Well, we can address that whenever it comes. I mean, right now, we don't have any data on any of that. We only have data on one boat ramp. Now we have two. Now let's milk this cow a little bit and let's get some money for the town.
And I'll say it again, it should be in the budget setting.
Can we
That's
table
revenue.
this
Nope.
until the budget?
We are not paying on it.
I'm
We need to eliminate
I'm not gonna be a part of sliding something underneath the nose of the.
It was supposed to be like this initially.
Because I promise you, if this.
Initially, that was the way it was supposed to
They'll
be.
be here.
But that's not what anybody's doing. Nobody's trying to
I'm not
slide
gonna pull the
anything.
wool over anybody.
Everybody's trying to look at the numbers and do what's best for the community as a whole, not individuals and eliteness. Like there's 200 people. You're saying 200 people. These 200 people deserve their own personal boat ramp, and the rest of the people in the community, you get to just
What community
go
are you
on.
talking about?
Our
What
community,
do you
our
represent?
community. I represent this community as a whole,
Enough said.
not just.
Enough said. Cape Carteret. You're elected by Cape Carteret.
That's exactly right, and I represent all of Cape Carteret. Yes, sir.
That'll include,
And we're losing
Lapeer,
revenue.
Cedar Point, Raleigh, whatever. So,
There's a cap. It is not like we're like giving out unlimited passes. How many have we sold so far?
137 or 8, I believe.
You're the ones that have to answer to the public. I know where I stand. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, we don't know if it's broke or not because we've never done it. So I make a motion that we move forward with selling passes to outside, like we were before. With the,
Manatee only?
yeah, we'll do Manatee only.
And you had the prices at 600 for nearby towns and 800 for outside of.
Yep.
Okay.
So just if I could be clear, what is the charge for the outside towns?
So his motion is for $600 for outside or surrounding towns and then $800 for everybody else. So Bo, Pelletier, and Cedar Point would be $600 and $800 for
Anybody else?
Right.
And a cap of how many?
We did not discuss a cap yet, but, and for Manatee only. Correct.
I don't think we should have a cap. I think we should just roll with it. We have two ramps.
So is that your motion?
Yes, so that is my motion.
I'll second it.
All right, a motion is second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carries 3-2. All right, next up is scheduling of budget workshop dates. Jim?
So it's that time of year again. We've talked a little bit about it, I think individually, as far as budget workshops. Like to hold our first one the first week of February. I proposed a couple of dates. Look at your schedules. So February 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. That's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. March 16th, 17th, 18th, or 19th. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, mid-March. And then in May, hope to deliver you a budget. The impetus of the one in February is really to get your desires for next year. It'll give me an opportunity to go back and put a cost to those desires as we start looking at our budget, start looking at our revenues to see what we can do next year. That's really the thought process behind that. And we can schedule all three of those. We can schedule the February and come back to the other two on whatever your pleasure.
What was the February dates you had?
I had the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
Okay.
And again, that's a Monday the 2nd, Tuesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 4th, or Thursday the 5th. I didn't figure any of y'all would meet Friday.
We normally have these during the day. Is there any opposition for that? I know some of you guys work for a living. We can have them in the evenings if it makes it better.
I'm good.
Okay, all good for the day?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Just need to pick a date. Are there any conflicts with any of those?
I'd like to see a first one on February 5th.
February 5th?
Okay, how's everybody else look for the 5th?
Good. What time do they start?
So we start whenever you call them. So we're advertise the start time if you wanted to start.
It's usually like 9 o'clock, isn't it?
9 o'clock generally.
Is that good for everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, then we'll do that for February 5th, 9 o'clock.
Sounds good.
You want to go ahead and look at March, everybody? Or you want to wait?
Say, let's set them all up now.
Yeah, I'll say go
I
ahead.
agree.
I'd say the 19th in March.
Oh, I can't do the 19th.
What were your other dates? Just,
So the other dates were the 16th, 17th, 18th,
okay,
and 19th.
so that week.
Can you do the 18th, Eric?
Yes, sir.
David?
Yeah, I should, as far as I know right now.
Everybody good for the 18th?
I'm good.
Steve?
I ain't heard a thing this side.
I said, March 18th, we can't do March 19th. Can you do the 18th? Doesn't matter to you? Okay.
All right.
And then in May,
You have the 18th, 19th, 20th, or 21st. And again, that's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
when's Memorial Day? Is that the 30th?
Yeah, it's towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
And
About the 22nd, which is a Thursday.
22nd.
I mean, 21st,
21st is a Thursday, I think.
No, it's
Unless
22nd.
I'm looking at it wrong.
22nd's Friday.
The 18th's a Monday.
22nd's a Friday.
Right.
Excuse me, 21st, sorry.
21st, 9 a.m.
21st, good for everybody?
Mhm.
All right. We'll get this duly advertised. So,
All right, good deal. All right, next up is the town manager report.
all right, I'll breeze through a couple things here. As y'all know, January 1st, Bay Shore boat ramp opened up. I'm seeing a little bit of traffic over there. Ryan and his guys are back over there. We put an initial lift of soil on that site and rolled it just to kind of get it crowned so it would drain properly. He's back in there this week, put the second lift in there. It looks really good, what you guys have done thus far. Notice at the Anita Fort and Bayshore Drive fishing piers, there are new fishing line disposal containers. One of the town residents, Mr. Roy Surratt, contacted me sometime back. I don't know if he could donate those in coordination with Bonehenge Museum over there in Brentford. He hadn't been there. It's really cool spot. Got some whales and things like that over there. But those have been installed. Next, curbside vegetative debris collection is February 2nd. If you've been on the trail lately or been by the trail and looked, if you went by, you see both new bollards and stop signs. Ryan and his crew installed those over the last 3 weeks. They look really good. We're getting a lot of comments from citizens, just walk-ins really, about bollards. We knew we needed to place them a couple. Who would have thought that driving on the trail was a thing? But in fact, it is. I'm not talking about golf carts.
No,
I'm talking about
I saw the lady.
motor vehicles. So it is in fact
Somebody
a thing.
drove their car?
Yeah, yeah, they almost tried to cross the little bridge up here. They stopped.
Multiple people have driven their car on the trail. But there's also stop signs at the intersections, more popular intersections, just to remind our pedestrian and bicycling public to stop and look both ways. But those have been installed on the trail. Remind you that boating access, golf cart tags, and pack storage passes are in full swing. That's rocking and rolling, keeping Kesley very busy. I think every time I walk up there and say, hey, could you do this? There's about 3 people in the lobby waiting for her to issue one of those 3 passes. So that's very good. Town hall will be closed on the 19th in the service of Martin Luther King Day. Also, our planning commission will meet on January 20th at 6 p.m. and our board of adjustment will meet on February 27th at 6:30 p.m. Want to give just a quick thank you to the Civic Credit Union. Our employee breakfast for Christmas, they donated $300 to that. Total cost was about $500, so they donated significantly more than half of that. We appreciate their donation to the town. Also to West Carteret Water, a lot of the candy and things that we threw out, they were very instrumental and donated to that as well. So I want to thank both of those organizations. That's all I have.
All right. Next up is commissioner reports. We'll start with you, Steve. Okay. David?
Sir, so just to inform, the VFW Post 9960 here is formally adopting the highway from VFW Road down to the intersection on 24. And they use a lot of community service help there at the VFW. So they are going to be at least a minimum 4 times a year providing cleanup on both sides of the road for Cedar Point and for Cape Carteret. Probably going to do it a lot more often than that. That road gets very dirty, so that road should be pretty clean for the near future or the long-term future. Also, I just say, I only became aware of this myself within the past couple of days about a daily pass that can use the boat ramp. And that's in addition to a lifelong resident here who also did not know about it. So my only suggestion is that maybe we do a better job of advertising what is available for some of the towns. It probably is on the website. It's probably out there. But again, I didn't know, and I know other people who did not know about that. So.
We do not have a daily pass. If you happen to have your boat on a lift that's on the water, we'll give you a pass to get it off during a hurricane or for service, but we do not.
Oh, so there isn't. Okay, so then I really don't know what I'm talking. Okay, all right. So I told them wrong. So, okay, maybe there should be. So I just put that out for discussion. It's like I have, I'll only use the boat ramp twice a year. I'll put it in and take it out. I got a lift. So maybe that is something else that we can look at down in the future for discussion. The other thing I'd like to discuss is we are putting in our property on the shoreline, we are putting in a living shoreline in front of our property. So that's something other residents have done. It's subsidized by the North Carolina Coastal Federation. So we're putting in X number, they're matching 3/4 of that cost to put that in. It's a 2-foot oyster wall. And again, I don't know what's better, a wall or that, but they're pushing that. They've done all of Hammocks Beach. They've done a lot of work on the shoreline. So I bring that up because Holly Lane is, I believe, the only park of the 7 or 8 in the town that does not yet have a bulkhead. And a living shoreline might be a better answer than to putting a bulkhead in. Again, for discussion only, and that's a budget discussion when we get to that. What I would like to do is go to the Wildlife Federation and have them come and maybe give a short presentation on bulkheads, vice, living shoreline for the town's knowledge for the future. Just one other thing that I would like to say about the upcoming budget discussions. I think one of the most important things the town can do right now is develop a comprehensive plan that a capital improvement plan can nest underneath, because that way, once we have a budget, we'll know what our wants are. Because right now we don't have hardly any money for wants. We just have money for needs in the town. And the last thing that I have is, again, just for discussion and thinking about right now, is that unless the board wants to do something else, I've had during the election season, I had a lot of people, not a lot, 2 or 3. So which for this area, that's a lot, come up and say, hey, I live in Bogue and I really would like to get a golf cart pass to drive my vehicle over the line into Cape Carteret. So again, going back to the freedom of movement of golf carts in the area. I don't know why we wouldn't be neighborly and allow that. Evidently, we did in the past, but we don't do that anymore to allow them to register here for maybe a little bit more money, or to let them use the parks or not use the parks. But I just put that out for discussion with the other commissioners: is do we want to let our neighbors in Bogue, and specifically the ones living next to Bayshore, drive on our streets? I don't know what the answer to that is. But
First off, I'd like to wish citizens of Cape Carteret Happy New Year. Secondly, I'd like to thank the town staff for a great holiday season, getting the lights up and down, getting the Christmas tree for Miss Courtney to fire up, taken care of. I want to say to the staff, amazing. Jeff, Kesley, Heather, thank you. Gene, thank you. Other than that, looking forward to the process of the budget. I think we've got a lot of things that we need to discuss. And that's all I got to report. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Thank you.
All right. Well, I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and a New Year. I want to just thank everyone who helped me with the Red Kettle campaign. Some people rang and some people put money in the kettle. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I got the cowbell.
Yeah, I got it. So lots of great comments about the sled. All the kids are raving about it. So the kids in the neighboring towns, they're a little jealous. So they've come over to the neighbors who like having bonfires and little parties now from the other town because Santa's coming there. So okay, that's a cool thing. And they're all excited about the ice cream truck, young and old. So great deal. And then the Tree City USA project, I'm happy to hear about that. They're good for our town. And then I don't know, just thank you to the staff. You're doing a great job. And everybody loved the tree. And I loved it out there when I was ringing the bell. I could see the tree from Lowe's Food. So great spirit. That's it. Thank you.
All right, yeah, just thanks for everything in the town. I think when we get in the budget meeting, I want to talk about wellness for everybody that works in the town, the police officers to the admin to the Parks and Rec Public Works, about possibly getting some workout time or something. I know it helps me, and I think it would help everybody else. So when that time comes, we'll be discussing that, and I'll be putting something forward. Other than that, I know tonight was a little tense, but I think we did the best thing for the town as a whole. And I really look forward to selling some passes out there and doing some good with that funds for the town. So yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
I would like to say, did we mention Officer Moneymaker? Did we recognize him?
We did not.
Oh, so I'd like to recognize him because he assisted a resident with a recent fraud investigation. And it was a big chunk of money that. Yeah, he definitely needs to be recognized. Okay, that. And that's it.
Yeah, I'll reiterate, Happy New Year to everybody. Santa did an awesome job. Awesome job. If y'all know, I had my mother-in-law live with me. She just recently passed away. But that was one of the last things that she really enjoyed, was seeing Santa come by. And then I'd like to thank the church as well. They had their singers come by right after you guys came through, and she got some caroling done. So her last week here, I call it on her final vacation, was awesome here in the town of Cape Carteret. She really felt welcome and loved our town for the short period of time she was here. Gene and I went and had a nice little tour of the base at Cherry Point, which is why I was bringing up the Allies at Cherry Point. And as I'm walking through here, I can't tell you how many neighbors and people that live in our town work there. And then as we get all this information from what they're doing for the community and the outreach, I'm like, oh my God. And their plans for the future and just just, I think they want to put a little nuclear power plant in there, right, too. So there's a lot they've got going on, which will benefit us as well. So I just felt like I'm going to see if I can get Will to come in here, maybe do a presentation for you guys at our next board meeting, so you can see more of what I'm talking about. I was just so impressed with the base and how it does have its tentacles in every little facet of this county. It's just unreal. And they were looking at our town, maybe take the place of another town on some of their boards and stuff, and I'd be more than happy to do that. But that was really, really an eye opener for me. I had no idea they had such an outreach. Also, as we speak, the county is in session. I was hoping to be at their board meeting, but they're having it tonight about the zip code. So that was put on their consent agenda. So I hope that by the time I get home, that has been approved. And then we can take that next hurdle up to the Postmaster General. And we've got people in line ready to help us with our senators and the congressmen and our state representatives. So that's something that I'm very happy about to see that happen, because we were losing money. And I think that's when the county finally got involved and were appreciative when they saw that they were losing money. So this is great. Before it didn't really matter, but now everything's done so much on the internet. That's a lot of revenue that's going to Onslow County that needs to stay right here. And a big thank you to staff again. You guys do an amazing job, everybody. And I will entertain a motion now to go into a closed session
I'll make the motion.
to discuss real property acquisition.
I'll make the
Okay,
motion.
second. All in favor? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Glad to see you. We'll just hang out here.